Welcome back. I'm aware that it's not St. Patrick's Day, but I love this look, so I figured why not? It's a Toronto Maple Leafs jersey, so here we are. We got 5 games tonight in the National Hockey League, and if you didn't watch because you're like, it's 5 games, not gonna be that much happening. Tonight was crazy. So we'll start off with Detroit and Pittsburgh, maybe the most normal of the 5 games that were played tonight overall. Yeah, sure. So Talbot versus Nedeljkovic in this one. The Wings press at 2 minutes. In fact, the shots are 3-1 in favor of Detroit. 3.5 minutes in. Crosby to Raquel. There's a near miss there. The Wings are stealing pucks frequently early in that period. Tarasenko fans on one and close. He's been really struggling with Detroit this year. The Wings press at the half. The Penguins get stuck on one shot for a while. Crosby couldn't bury one and close. The Penguins press. Things are pushy on a hold by Talbot. Penguins do finally press with 4.5 minutes left. Malkin gets robbed. Talbot holds on there. Lizotte takes a puck to the face. He would skate off. And the announcers thought it was, interesting that Cam Talbot was so attentive to him because they were teammates last year. They both played in LA last year. The shots were evening up as the Penguins improved late in the period, but there was no score after one. Second period, 1 minute in. Berggren puts one short side from the left circle. Tarasenko and Petrie with the assists, so maybe that'll get Berggren and Tarasenko going. Penguins press for a response, but the shots are 3-0 Detroit. 3.5 minutes in, the Wings would draw a power play, and they score on it. At 5:15, it's Kane roofing one on a cross ice pass. Larkin and Raymond with the assists. Shots are 7-0 for Detroit at 7 minutes, but Pittsburgh scores at 7:19. Rust from Bunting gets Pittsburgh on the board, and then they start looking for the tie. Beauvillier has a slot shot that's blocked out. The teams exchange turnovers. Penguins press with 9 minutes left. There's a near miss for Beauvillier in close. Crosby has a slot shot that's saved. Lots of momentum for the Penguins, and they would tie it. Beauvillier, who'd had the other opportunities, he puts one in on a cross ice pass. Great pass by Pettersson to set him up. Crosby with the secondary assist. That's at 12:23. Gabe's tied at 2. Penguins then look for the lead. We get a power play for Detroit. That's killed off with 2:34 left. The Penguins get a power play. That's killed off as well. It is 2-2 after the second period of play. Third period, we get an early power play for the Penguins. Carlson to Crosby near miss. That power play is killed off. Penguins press after it ends. In fact, the shots are 6-2 for Pittsburgh at 4.5 minutes. The Penguins press at 9 minutes. Talbot really sharp in this game. Things are pushy on a hold by Nedeljkovic. The Wings then turn on that tap, and they start getting the shots. They press with 7 minutes left. Rust fans on one via a fast break. He felt he was slashed on the hand, and there should have been a call there. But the Wings press with 2 minutes left, and we end up going to overtime with the score still tied at 2. Penguins controlled early. Larkin has a net feed that's picked off. Malkin's denied on a rush. And then at 1 minute and 30 seconds, Edvinsson buries one from the slot to get Detroit the win in overtime 3-2. DeBrincat and Kane with the assists. So Patrick Kane with a goal and an assist. And Detroit improves to 7-7-1 with the win. With the overtime loss, Pittsburgh 6-9-3. The misery continues. Shots on net, 12-10 Detroit in the first, 12-11 Pittsburgh in the second, 10-7 Pittsburgh in the third. In the overtime, both teams had one shot. Detroit having the shot that matters. Final shots 33-31 in favor of Pittsburgh. Power plays Detroit 1 for 2, Pittsburgh 0 for 2. The hits 18-15 for Pittsburgh. Talbot saves 31 out of 33, and Nedeljkovic saves 28 out of 31. So both goaltenders pretty good tonight, and Detroit gets that extra goal. All right, next up, Toronto and Washington. This game was absolutely insane. So it's Woll versus Thompson. The Leafs press at 2 minutes. Steves is denied and close. I thought Steves had a good game tonight. Caps press at 2.5 minutes. The shots are 2-1 Toronto, 5 minutes in. Caps press at 6 minutes. The first whistle of this game isn't until 6 minutes and 42 seconds. So the first whistle is when they're due for their first commercial break. Strong forechecking by Toronto. Carlson's denied, and then there's a brush the other way for the Leafs. A lot of one and done for both teams, not a lot of sustained presses. And then at 11 minutes and 12 seconds, Radish banks one in off Domi's skate on a rush. McMichael and Dubois with the assists. It's 1-0 Capitals. But Toronto answers at 12:13. McMahon puts one 5-hole from in close. Tavares and Holmberg with the assists. The score's 1-1 at that stage. Caps have a 2-on-1 that's defended. There's a press by Washington with 2.5 minutes left. Eventually they get it back. At 18:33, Strome buries one from in close, so no chance for Woll on either of these goals. Protus and Roy with the assists. It's 2-1 for Washington after 1. Second period, Chychrun has a slapper that's kicked aside. Domi's robbed on a breakaway. There's a dog pile as the Caps get a power play. That's killed off. 1 shot on net. Shots are 2 apiece at 5.5 minutes. The Leafs then draw a power play. Tavares Tanais gets picked off. The Caps rush. In fact, Washington kills that off. No shots on net for Toronto on that power play. Things are pushy then on a Thompson hold afterwards. The Caps then press, and Karlsson scores, but the goalie interference challenge is made. It stands up, so the referee is informed that he sucks, even though Toronto makes the call on those ones. Riley then with a near miss. The Caps clear. Nyes has a slot shot that's held as the Leafs press. Then there's a 4-minute penalty on Nyes for a high stick. Problem is, his stick never came up. It's a collision. His shoulder strikes the player, and there's no penalty. So again, fans not happy with the referee on that one. Leafs press with 5 minutes left, but the Caps, they score again. Protus scores from Sandin and Ovechkin at 17:48, makes it 3-1. The Leafs press in the final minute, but they're down 3-1 after 2. Third period, early press by Toronto. Timmins has a screenshot that's saved, and there's a lot of bend don't break defense from the Capitals. So it's make sure that if they get a shot, it's from a distance. Make sure the goaltender can see it. Don't give them anything in close. But I thought they were defending too much, and they were leaning back too much. You can do this with like 5 minutes left with a 2-goal lead, but the whole third doesn't work that well, and Toronto was really aggressive too. Shots are 5-1 for Toronto at 5.5 minutes. McCabe has a shot that's held. It's all Leafs at this point. The Caps get some pressure at 7 minutes. The Leafs score, but it's no goal. It went in off his leg. It was Lorentz, I believe, at the net. And yeah, I mean, he's making basically a kneeing motion, similar to, in soccer when you're trying to, put the puck or put the ball off your thigh. It was a similar move, so I agreed with it coming back, although I knew it was close. Did take a while. McMahon's then denied on back-to-back shots, so he was looking for another. And then on a turnover, Nylander puts one in. Nyes with the assist at 15:51. That gets it within a goal. Then the Leafs tie. It's waved off as a high stick. The replay showed it was close, and I guess there was nothing that showed that it wasn't a high stick. So whatever the call is on the ice, the replay has to distinctively prove that call on the ice was wrong. There wasn't one to do that. So the goalie pull happens with 2:05 left after the Leafs hadn't tied it. And then with 51.6 seconds left, the Leafs get a power play. They score on it to tie the game. On a cross-ice pass, Marner buries one. Riley and Nylander with the assists at 19:13. We're going to overtime. The Leafs control early. Then there was a post and out for Karlsson on a rush. Teams had chances. And at 4 minutes and 12 seconds, Tavares goes 5-hole on a net drive. Marner with the assist. Toronto down 2 goals against Washington going into the third. They come back and take this 4-3 in overtime. They go to 10-6-2 with the win. With the overtime loss, the Capitals 10-4-1. Shots on net, 11-5 Washington in the first, 9-6 Toronto in the second, 17-7 Toronto in the third. Both teams had 3 shots in the overtime. Toronto with the shot that matters. Final shots are 34-27 for the Leafs. Power plays, Toronto 1 for 2, Washington 0 for 1. The hits 21-13 Washington. Woll saves 24 out of 27, and Thompson saves 30 out of 34. But again, very entertaining game. Which brings us to Carolina against Vejmelka. I'm starting to think I need magnets to just has like the goalie's name on it, because this was the Vejmelka show tonight. So it's Kochetkov versus Vejmelka. Utah presses at 2.5 minutes. In fact, the shots are 2-1 in their favor. 3.5 minutes in, which does not indicate how this game's going to go. Martinook has a rush chance that saved. The Canes press at 9 minutes. Utah has a 3-on-2. That's broken up. Utah gets stuck on 2 shots for a while here. The Canes, we know, are able to generate a bunch of chances, and they're really good at shot suppression at their end as well. So the Canes press with 8 minutes left. Then we get a power play drawn by Utah. That was killed off. Then there's a near miss for Kesselring afterwards. The Canes press with 3.5 minutes left. But at 17:55, unassisted Bukestad buries one in close. So despite Carolina controlling a lot of the action, Utah's ahead. Keep that in mind. It's going to come back later. Utah looks for another. Drury then has a one-timer that's held in the final minute. It's 1-0 Utah after the first. Second period, there's an early press by Utah. Burns has a screenshot that's saved. The shots are 2 apiece, 3.5 minutes in. Kokaniemi has a rush chance that's held. Canes press at 4 minutes. Stahl's denied on a breakaway. Walker has a wrist shot that deflects out. Natchez has a rush chance that's held, and eventually the Canes draw a power play, and they score on it. Nature's Roofs one from the left circle. Gostisbehere and Aho with the assists at 10:04. So now it's a 1-1 tie. The Canes then draw a power play after that. That's killed off. Teams exchange rushes. The shots with 5 minutes left were 14-3 for Carolina. So there's only so many ways that I can write Canes are pressuring, Canes have opportunities. It was all Carolina. But Utah escapes that second period with a 1-1 tie. Third period, early press by Carolina. Cooley then has a net feed that's picked off. The Canes press again at 2.5 minutes. Nick Schmaltz is never getting a goal. What's interesting is I've been talking about that in previews, but Utah's announcers talking about it as well, and pretty sure that some good thoughts and feelings will get it. Nope. Schmaltz is jinxed. The teams exchange turnovers, and then at 5:09 on a rush, McBain scores from Kesselring, and on that play, Walker collides with Kochetkov. Kochetkov was down for a little bit. He did get up. He did continue the game. Then we have a crossbar for Utah that was called a goal. What I thought was weird was the referee saying the puck did not completely cross the line. Why didn't he just say the puck actually hit the crossbar, no goal? I thought it was weird because, yeah, the puck hit the crossbar. When he said it didn't completely cross the line, I'm like, was there another play is it not just the that was crossbar? So Cole's denied from the slot. It's all Utah all of a sudden. And at 7 minutes and 11 seconds, Sergachev wires one from the high slot on a 3-on-2 rush. Gunther and Michelli with the assists on that. And with that goal not looking fantastic for Kochetkov, Spencer Martin goes in the net. He is welcomed to the game 15 seconds later on a goal by Bjugstad, bearing a rebound and close. Kesselring with the assist. So Kesselring all of a sudden is all over the board when I do Utah games right now. He's playing well. He's all of a sudden an offensive defenseman too. Then we had a fight between Drury and Carconi, but not really. So I write Drury versus Carconi. However, the Canes come out of that with a power play. In fact, because Drury's basically just mugged, they give Carconi 2 for instigating, which is weird because it wasn't technically a fight. So I guess, well, they said it was the aggressor penalty. So 2, 5, and 10. So Carconi, coming off of this fight with Drury, was, throwing his arms in the air, crowd's going crazy, and he's all excited. Then he gets kicked out of the game because there's less than 17 minutes left, and there's a 7-minute power play for the Carolina Hurricanes. That is very rare. I know we've had 7-minute power plays. I know I've discussed it. I think the longest power play we've had in a game that I've reviewed is 9 minutes. I think we had a 9-minute power play at one point. But it ends up being almost 9 minutes anyways. So, it is a 7-minute power play because there's no penalty to Drury. Drury just got mugged there, right? So, Roslovic has a one-timer kicked aside. Really strong penalty killing, and Vejmelka basically said, all right, boys, just hop on my back. I'm going to carry this team to the victory. So, Aho's denied from the slot, and then we end up with 34 seconds of 5-on-3, meaning they'd almost killed the entire 7 minutes, and now it's a 5-on-3 for the Canes. Well, there's a shorthanded rush by Kesselring that ends up ending that. So essentially, they were shorthanded for almost half of the third period, and Carolina had chances, could not find the back of the net. With 2:53 left, the Canes have another power play. So now it is more than half of the third period that they were shorthanded. And Vejmelka puts on quite the show. That power play's killed off as well. Utah wins 5-1 because of Vejmelka. They go to 7-6-3 with the victory. With the loss, Carolina 11-4 on the season. Shots on net, Carolina the whole way. 15-8 in the first, 17-5 in the second, 18-8 in the third. The final shots are 50-21 for Carolina, who lost 4-1. Power plays, Carolina 1 for 6, Utah 0 for 1. Hits 12-11 for Carolina. Kochetkov 15 saves on 18 shots before he was replaced by Spencer Martin, who saved 2 out of 3. Vejmelka saved 49 out of 50. I'm not going to look at the advanced stats on this, but he had to have saved at least 6 goals above expected tonight. This was insane. This was great goaltending by Vejmelka. You can't count on that from him every night. But when Vejmelka's on and he plays like this, it is something to watch. He doesn't do it all the time, but when he does this, he's dialed in. Kind of reminds me of Ron Tugnut that way. But anyways, that being said, let's go ahead and change boards. All right, and 2 games on this board. I didn't end up needing both columns tonight for these games, which I wasn't necessarily entirely surprised by. So, LA and the Colorado Avalanche. It's Kemper versus Georgiev. 32 seconds in, LA scores. Kempe buries a rebound, Kopitar and Moore with the assists. And my first thought was, okay, this is not what they need with Georgiev in Colorado. But the Avs bail him out. They look to respond, and they do. Lehkonen wires one from the slot during a good press by the Avs. Rantanen and McKinnon with the assists at 3 minutes and 40 seconds. We then get a power play for Colorado. That's killed off. The Avs go back to the power play. That ends up going on for a minute and 54 seconds and becomes 6 seconds of 4-on-4. So it becomes a power play for the Kings. Kempe has a one-timer that's held. Everything's killed off there. Shots are 7-5 for the Kings with 5 minutes left. And at 15:51, Kempe on a cross-ice pass, he buries one. Kopitar and Moore with the assists. LA's got the lead back at 2-1. Kings press with 2 minutes left, and yeah, they had a really strong road period. They outshot the Avalanche 9-5, and they just stopped. Second period, Kelly has a slot shot that's held. The Avs press at 3 minutes. The shots are 4-0 Colorado, 4.5 minutes in. 6 minutes in, still no Kings shots. I'll just alleviate the tension. No shots by the Kings in the second period. None. I understand, like, not wanting to just throw everything at the net like Carolina's been known to do, but throw something at the net. And they definitely had chances where they could have. It's just, I don't know if their confidence was down or what. So there's a near miss on a net feed to Kempe. Then there's a post for Fiala on a breakaway. We get a power play for Colorado. That's killed off with 8 minutes left. The Avs have 9 shots. LA still has none, of course. The Avs press with 5.5 minutes left. Moore fires one high. The Avalanche clear. And then at 16:07, Rantanen scores from Makar. Well, the Kings still don't have a shot. So now it's 2-2. The Avs press with 3 minutes left, and they get more pressure in the final minute. So going into the third period, I thought, okay, the Kings have to know they got away with one. They got outshot badly in that second period. They didn't even record a shot. I expected a much better effort in the third, and mildly. Early press by the Avs. The shots are 1 apiece at 2.5 minutes, so I think it was like 30 minutes between shots for the Kings. Taves has a slot shot that's held. The Kings press at 3.5 minutes. Kemper, he ends up getting hurt during the play, and you could tell that he was laboring. And so once the whistle goes, he signaled to the official. The official blows the whistle. Kemper leaves. Riddick goes in. And Kemper went right down the tunnel. So he came back from injury not too long ago. Did he aggravate it? We'll probably know tomorrow. So that means Riddick's in. Then there's a near miss for McKinnon on a rush. The teams exchange rushes after that. And at 10:01, the first shot Riddick faces is Rantanen from the slot. And Rantanen wires at 5-hole. McKinnon and O'Connor with the assists. That's Rantanen's second of the game. Kings press to respond. Georgiev holds amidst a dog pile. And the Kings again go to 4 forwards and 1 defenseman with less than 5 minutes left. This is something that they're doing every game now. And it hasn't really generated much. In fact, after they go that way, Rantanen's denied on a 3-on-2 rush. One thing to keep in mind when you have 4 forwards and 1 defenseman out is, once that puck's turned over, that forward that's playing defense has to be a defenseman, and that can be tricky in the NHL. So the goalie pull happens with 2:45 left, and at 18:01, after a few attempts missed, Rantanen hits the empty net for the hat-trick goal. McKinnon and Lehkonen with the assists. Colorado wins this one 4-2. They go to 9-8 on the season. They're back above 500. The Kings 9-6-3, and with this result, combined with this result, the Kings are no longer first in the division. Shots on net, 9-5 LA in the first, 13-0 Colorado in the second, 7-6 Colorado in the third. Final shots 25-15 for Colorado. Power plays, LA 0-1, Colorado 0-3. The hits 24-20 for LA. Kemper 18 saves on 20 shots. Riddick 3 saves on 4 shots, and Georgiev 13 saves on 15 shots. The Kings need to do something different. It's not working. Whatever strategies they've been employing, they might want to change them up a little bit because they've started to slide a bit. All right, last game of the night, Vegas and Anaheim. And much like the Detroit-Pittsburgh game, this might be less of a surprise at all. It's Hill versus Dostal. There were no shots on net 3 minutes into this one. Vegas presses at 4.5 minutes. They end up drawing a power play. The Ducks kill that off. The shots are 6-2 for Vegas at 9 minutes. Vetrano has a 3-on-2 chance. That's held. Vegas would press with 3 minutes left, but it's the Ducks that get on the board first. It's McGinn. Puts one past the screen from in close. Minchukov and Leeson with the assists at 17:39. That's the first assist of the season for Minchukov. Vegas looks to respond, and they do. At 19:11, Roy buries one, Theodore and Schwint with the assists. So Vegas ties the Ducks 1-1 after the first period. Second period, there's a kick save on Dumoulin. The Ducks press. In fact, 2 minutes in, the Ducks already had 3 shots to 1 for Vegas. Roy's denied on a turnover. Vegas presses at 6 minutes. We then get a power play for Vegas, and they score on it. It is Hurdle bearing a rebound. Eichel and Theodore with the assists at 6:43. It's 2-1 in favor of the Golden Knights. Vegas then presses for another. The shots are 7-5 in their favor at 8.5 minutes. Remember, the Ducks had 3 of the first 4 shots. There's a press by Vegas at the half. Really good puck pressure by Vegas. There's not really much room out there for the Ducks. We get a power play for Anaheim. Crossbar and out for Zellweger. So he was close, but of course crossbar means it's not a shot on net. That power play's killed off. It did have chances for Anaheim. Ducks press with 2.5 minutes left. Dumoulin has a net drive that's picked off with 4 seconds left. The Ducks get a power play. So they're down 2-1. That power play starts the second period. Vegas finishes the kill. Then there's a press by the Vegas Golden Knights at 3 minutes. The Ducks get pinned down for a bit to the point where when they finally get the puck and try to clear it, instead they hand it to Dorofeev and he buries it at 4 minutes and 27 seconds on his own rebound. So it's right to Dorofeev in the slot and he buries his own rebound, makes it 3-1. So that pressure directly leads to that goal. Ducks press for response. Vegas presses at 7 minutes. The shots are 4 apiece at 8.5 minutes. With 8:09 left, the Ducks get a power play. Clearly need a goal here. They do not get it. There was a blocker save, on a Vetrano one-timer. That power play is killed off. Shots are 12-9 Vegas with 4.5 minutes left. With 2:29 left, Vegas gets power play. That's killed off. And then Killorn's out of the box, and he's the second assist on a Vetrano goal. Leeson and Killorn with the assist at 19:46. That's buried on a rush. They do call a timeout, do the Ducks, but they're unable to come up with anything else. Your final score in this one is 3-2 in favor of the Vegas Golden Knights. They go to 10-4-2 with the win. The Ducks 5-8-2. The slide continues for Anaheim. Shots on net, 9-8 Anaheim in the first, 14-5 Vegas in the second, and then 18-10 Vegas in the third. Final shots, 40-24 for the Golden Knights. Power plays, Vegas 1 for 3, Anaheim 0 for 3. The hits, 20-19 for Anaheim. Aiden Hill, 22 saves on 24 shots. Good bounce back game for him. And Dostal, again, doing Dostal things, 37 saves on 40 shots. He gives Anaheim a chance every time he plays. They just do not have the offense to support him. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.